Hi everyone, and welcome. I'm Lilian Ducar, your host today. I'm a board trustee of the European Organization Design Forum and a senior HR and org design leader. Today's session is all about the EODF Masterclass, a unique learning experience designed to level up your organization design skills. I'm joined by three fantastic guests. Two of them are certified organization design professionals and EODF faculty members, Shan Pridarshan and Arun Kumar, along with one of our brilliant Masterclass alumni, Odile Shevdor. Let me introduce each of them. Shan has deep experience redesigning operating models to help organizations respond to shifting priorities. He's led complex transformations across financial services, utilities, and the public sector, with a focus on AI-enabled models. Arun has led transformation across industries like telecom, oil and gas, and manufacturing. He specializes in translating strategy into adaptive, execution-ready organizational architectures. He's also a leadership coach and a passionate facilitator who blends frameworks with real-world insight. Odile is an org development and design consultant. She's worked across industries in different countries, France, Germany, the US, and the UK. She's also a trained coach and has designed leadership development programs. After completing the EODF Masterclass, she continues to redefine her expertise and embraces lifelong learning. All right, to kick us off, Shan, could you give us a quick 1 to 2 minute overview of what the EODF Masterclass is and how it's structured?
Thank you, Lillian, for having me and inviting me to be part of this lovely panel to discuss our masterclass elements of it. So, masterclass is not just a training element. It's about bringing the multiple cohorts from different parts of the countries. We have cohorts in the past from Australia all the way down to US as well, West Coast as well. So you can see the world global presence and coming together. What we teach as part of that is to bringing everyone to a particular level, kind of what is organization design, what are the key elements, what are the standards, all those framework. But what we also do is deep dive into more detailed level of how do you start the organization design, what are the trigger points that you have to start the organization design, because I always use a analogy of do not do a surgery all the time on an organization, because organization is a living system. So therefore organization design need to be done in the right time, right place, and stuff like that. What we teach is the techniques, the tools, and the approach where the complex element of the organization can be kind of unpacked and fulfilled in delivering the strategic intent. And we also help the participants to challenge their own thought process, the approach, also bringing the attendees together, which enables them to take more valuable insight from our courses.
Thank you, Shan. Arun, would you like to add anything in terms of the value that the participant gains from the masterclass?
Thank you, Lillian, for inviting me to this session. So, in addition to what Shan has mentioned, the three things which would be key value proposition that the participants could look out is one is in terms of the overall diversity of the program itself. When I say the diversity of the practitioner facilitators and the knowledge that they bring on to the table towards facilitating the session, and also the diversity of the participants is one big thing. And the second thing, as in program, adequately balances between the theoretical underpinnings, therefore like it makes it all the more richer. And the third thing is, unlike any other program, while the overall organization design can itself be pursued in different forms and shapes, so as a body of knowledge and as a program, we don't restrict towards one way of doing the entire organization design as a practice. So that just kinds of creates a larger playground for the individuals to bring their uniqueness and to contextualize to the multidisciplinary perspective that each one would also bring on to the table. And the last thing, it's
Go ahead.
just not only about what an individual learns during that particular window, but the kind of
I think your Wi-Fi is a little breaking up a little.
Okay.
You're back.
We can hear you.
Do you want me
Yeah.
to repeat any part of it? Okay. Okay. So the last point that I was also alluding to is the overall support mechanism that the program offers, including the kind of mentorship that a participant get in order to transfer the learning back to one's own context, is an additional value proposition that an individual could expect of from the program.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much. All right, so let's move on to a testimony from a former attendee to the masterclass, Odile. I have a few questions for you, so the audience can get a feel for what the experience is like from a participant's perspective. My first question is if you can share a little bit about your journey and what led you to the masterclass and what motivated you to join.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me today. I think my journey started a long time ago. What I mean by that is I'm always been driven by curiosity and understand the world. And over time, I realized that organizational development and design is a way of thinking and viewing the world, one that seeks to understand the complexity of people behavior with structure, with culture, etc. So although I really never had formally studied HR or OD, I built my career through decades hands-on experience across different countries, as you mentioned, but also sectors from private, not-for-profit, public, and business models and maturities, big organization and small organization, both in permanent and in interim roles. What's been consistent for me in my career is I always seek, and my life, I always seek meaning and purpose, looking at a bigger picture and connecting the dot. And a turning point for me was when I was asked to do an organization health diagnostic for a very big organization. And I discovered a Berkeley twin model, not that I'm attached to one or the other, but what I love about that model is what speaks to me is that alignment between leadership, culture, vision, people, and structure. And from that point on, I thought more like OD roles and began to see organizational design as a natural extension of organizational development, although we are not debating here which come first. It's a never-ending story. But what was often I was often overlooked for such roles, and I think it was because my background was broader and more systemic. So I decided to join the EODF Masterclass to deepen my expertise and being, part of a really thoughtful and forward-looking community of expert and OD practitioner.
Yeah, fantastic. And I like that you and Arun already mentioned about frameworks. And one of the things that I like the most about this masterclass is that it's framework agnostic. You learn different frameworks and then you get to mix and match depending on the situation. Let's move on to a different question. How did participating in the masterclass help you grow professionally and also personally?
I think the masterclass was at a time where I was between roles, and it offered for me the opportunity to step back and really reflect on my work. And it did help me to sharpen my thinking and learning more about operating models, design principle, and alignment all the way from strategy to the process and people. And I really appreciated that structured approach, step-by-steps that we learn from the EODF, which actually I have since applied with one client in terms of designing an operating model. So I learn a lot. Personally, I think it's not only about applying tools, as you mentioned already, right? But as an OD person, you do bring your whole self. And actually, as a professional, you bring your whole self into work, whatever our emotional intelligence, value, lived experience. And so on a personal level, being, exposed with different people, diverse view, diverse level of understanding what OD is and is not, each bringing a different context and experience is about, it's about gaining awareness of myself and others. So, and it reminds you to stay humble, because whatever decades of work and life experience you have, there is always more to learn and explore. So it did bring me a lot in terms of both professional and personal.
Yeah, I love the self-awareness mention that you had, and I'm sure that also helped you to choose the best approach when working with clients in terms of like more consultant-driven, more expert-led or participatory. Like,
yes,
that's really good to know yourself and all the tools that you have.
Yeah, definitely. It's about bringing your whole self, which is a big theme in terms of OD practitioner as well. So, and I quite like that.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And would you like to share about the course experience in terms of a highlight that or a moment that stood out? Could be in one of the modules, or it could be throughout the 4 modules.
Yeah, and I think, well, what I love about the course is that it's grounded in real world applications. So we had a case brought by somebody attending the course. So that makes it very relevant, because you work on a real case scenario. And one highlight for me in particular was the group work on these cases. And you have to work very quickly in a group and come back and debrief. And what was very interesting is that we all jump out easily, how easy it is to jump to solutioning, right? Often based on our own assumption or the meanings behind the words. We were all from different background, different language as well. And it is really a strong reminder of the importance of listening to what is asked and versus reacting, and the meaning behind the words and questioning the why. And I'm always very curious about that. And what was really interesting is that you can apply it to client and really learn. And in real life, the client doesn't have the patience, and sometimes they already have a solution in mind and they want you to react quickly. But the masterclass, give you that, reinforce the discipline of proper diagnosis before you launch into a solution, and holding that space. That's something that personally I thought, reflecting back, how interesting it was.
Yes, no, that's definitely one of the big learnings that a lot of people mention. It's a habit, right? It's like you have to build that habit or break the bad habit that you had about like jumping in. Amazing. And you mentioned about the case studies. Did you see a mix of case studies brought by other participants, but also those that the faculty brought? How did it work in your class?
I didn't hear the second word you said. Did I see what?
Yeah, was that a mix of case studies, some brought by the faculty members and some participants brought their own case studies?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it was good, because there's one person in a group who brought her own case study or real life almost, for one of the big organization, but also, had the pleasure to have Shan, as somebody leading the course with another gentleman, and they will always bring back some of their examples as well, which really was helpful.
Yes, yeah, it's one of the pieces of feedback, good feedback that we often get, that people get to work with case studies from a variety of industries and topics really, and of course the faculty always brings their different case studies, but anybody is welcome to bring their own and discuss them and practice and learn real time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So finally, before we give the audience a chance to ask their own questions, what would you like to share about the EODF community? Not only the masterclass, but the masterclass gives you an entrance to the EODF broader community. How has it influenced your work or perspective?
I think for me, there are not that many groups who are that generous. And so the community has been invaluable for me, but it's about the space that bring, together deep expertise with a lot of generosity of time and for others and ready to share. People are really, really willing to share and support one another. And I had the chance of getting a mentor because I asked.
Yeah.
And what was interesting, what I learned about a mentor that was more specific about the industry I was in, and incredibly supportive in a very challenging environment I was. But it also helped me to stay current as being part of this community. And beyond the framework and the methods is the sense of shared purpose that really stands out. Really, it's about how much we care about the impact of designing organization for the people and for their health and effectiveness.
Yeah.
Because organization will be effective only through its people. So yeah, I quite think it's quite a unique community.
Yes, and I love the mention about the mentorship because it's one of the benefits that people get if they do the masterclass, and I'm glad you benefited from that fantastic opportunity. Really,
Yes, I'm
really
grateful.
great to hear. Yeah, great. So let me see if there are any questions from the audience. If not, I'm sure Shan and Arun can share some of the common questions they typically get.
Yeah, I think one of the
Go
key
ahead.
two points that came stood out from what Odile was talking about. The case study, the participants who come to the masterclass, they wanted to learn the real life, and I think Odile nicely put in bringing yourself into the class, not only just the old ways of learning from a book perspective, but it's kind of things have moved on. So we are in a digital age. So how do you bring that digital age of thinking, also human-centric learning as well, which is critical? And I think nicely Odile put in bringing the case study from the cohorts that brings to the life, which then unpacks the challenges that they face. We as faculty members, we learn. We, even though we got 7 years of experience, for me is every masterclass I teach, I learn as well. So I'm also in that learning journey as we go through. But the thing is, we give that space from a faculty perspective to challenge each other's thought process, challenge their own belief, and to drive those benefits through the kind of, is this the right way, is that the other right way to drive forward, really. So that's what we bring together, and also that enables to build that EODF wider community, because it's the starting point of the connection where then it expands into the bigger family connection, really. So I think it's worth mentioning that masterclass may be the first connection, but there are other ways of connecting as well. But it always has expanded beyond that from a cohorts connection perspective.
Yes, absolutely. it's a tight community, and I love the mention about the case studies. It's a very hands-on class. You do get the theoretical, historical knowledge, which is important to have, but you also get the opportunity to practice current cases. Arun, do you want to talk about the the certification? This is a path to the certification, and I know you know this perfectly because you went through that journey. Do you want to talk about that?
Right. So yeah. So there is a common misconception which I in itself qualifies for an certification.
I don't know if others can hear you. It's breaking
Am
up
I
for
audible?
me. It is breaking
Yeah.
up for me.
No,
Okay. So what I was trying to communicate is the completion of the course is a critical step in the path of getting into an credentialing process or getting into an certification. But just the completion of the course is not only the sole criteria for an individual to get certified, but that's where like it becomes critical on how the individual also transfers the learning back to the projects and back to the real life scenarios, and also meets the criteria of the credentialing body becomes a critical aspect to also take into consideration.
Yes, thank you, Arun. Anything to add, Shan?
Yeah, thanks, Lillian. So just wanted to highlight our courses are accredited by the ODC, the Organization Design Community. What it means is there is a high standard of accreditation of those courses that we deliver to are they meeting meeting the syllabus or the schedules? Are we delivering something new in the industry that relevant to the trends? Are they kind of how are we taking the feedback from our participants and building up those courses more into a kind of new trends and new elements that each of the participants are expecting. So because it's a accredited course, what it gives is what, as Aaron said, it gives you an opportunity to apply for the certified organization design professional certification. But what it does, it gives you the point system, the 24 mandatory points to as a learning elements to provide it. It does not give you a certification. Ultimately what you have to go through that process where you have to show 1024 hours of experience of OD experience and real life scenarios, and it will be also been questioned to show from the ODC perspective is to what are the other credentials you have. So it gives that the foot towards that accreditation really. So
Yeah.
that's the key thing to know about it.
Yeah, thank you for clarifying that. Very helpful. It was one of the questions that we got. And then another question that we got is, how do you strike the balance between new and more experienced practitioners, since we welcome all?
So let me take that question and hand off to the team. So our criteria of taking onto the course is we don't set any criteria. We bring on new practitioners or expert practitioners as well to validate their experience in the kind of theoretical and techniques and tools that they can apply and validate it. So one of the key things that we tend to do is to, as we start the course, we bring up everyone to a standard level. So the first module will set the scene, will bring them up to kind of the equivalent level, whether they're experts or they're kind of starting their journey. So there's no criteria that we set, but we will bring as faculty members support each and individuals to come to that standard, and as we go through we'll also support them. The other other thing we want to apply say is at the second day of the course we stay behind half an hour to answer any questions they may have. So it's an opportunity for people to clarify some of the learnings, an opportunity to clarify other things as well.
Yes, and not to forget that there's some light pre-work, but lots of resources to read at your own leisure as well. All right, I don't see any
And
other
also,
questions.
if I could also add in over here, Lillian, in addition to what Shan has mentioned, through the course, like we also constantly garner feedbacks from the participants in the true spirit of co-creating the module to see through the needs of both the experienced and the new practitioners who are coming into the module.
Yeah. Thank you, Arun. All right, so we have 5 minutes left, and if there's nothing else to add, I would like to take a couple minutes to talk about two things: the dates for the upcoming masterclass, and then our annual conference. The dates first. This upcoming masterclass is our fast track format. It runs from the 16th of July through the 31st of July on Wednesdays and Thursdays over those 3 weeks. And we have two formats, the flagship masterclass and the fast track format. This coming one is the fast track format that we run in the summer, and it's a very popular one, and you have up to the day before the 16th to enroll. There are a few spaces available as well. And then my other announcement is something that I want to put in your minds, in your diaries, which is our annual conference happening in September, 19th and 20th of September. And this is going to be in Budapest. The link is on the screen, and we have the details posted already on the website. It's a fantastic event. If you want to network and be part of the EODF community, that's a great opportunity. All right, so that's it for me. If there's no more to add, I would just thank you for watching.
Thank you very much.